Right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are back to playing Symbaroum tonight. We are down an errand, but we're going to persevere. Nonetheless, technology is stupid. And we might be down at Kipster shortly as she ate spicy food before stream. And that's probably a bad combination. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, we're back. We're also back on the surface after spending the last couple of weeks underground in the underworld, exploring a cave beneath Thistlehold, and we'll see what everyone does. It should be fun. I'm looking forward to this. But before we get into that, why don't we go ahead and do some intros, figure out who everybody is, and then we'll get started. So we will start with Kipster. Kipster, tell us about Atolia.
Atolia is your standard gutter witch, herb witch. She comes out of Blackmoor all the way to the main city, just Thistlehold, just to hang out with her friends, get jobs done, get money, and do everything that needs to get done. She sent a letter to her mom, but we'll see how that goes because she's been gone for a few days.
Yeah, you've been gone for, let's see. When did you send the letter? Did you send the letter before you went underneath?
Yes, before went underneath.
Okay. It's only been like a day.
Yeah, okay. It's not
okay. It's only been a day. You'll be fine. I mean, your mom's probably not there anymore. She probably moved away. She was
of course.
Living in Daros or something now. I don't know.
Somewhere nicer.
She had the lottery. Now she's living in the capital.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Good for her.
She's moving up effect, inheritance over here?
Nope. She just wrote you off instead. Sorry. Oh. And that's the story. All right, next up, Long, tell us about Jinzo.
I'm Jinzo, a duelist here at the Abomatorium. Thistlehold is his hometown. He's born here. His father, a soldier that guards the walls between here and the forest. So he knows the place quite well.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice. And if you're unfamiliar with the Abomatorium, it's kind of like a Coliseum, basically. Within Thistlehold, it's where a lot of fights and entertainment kind of stuff happen. Perfect. All right. And again, like we're down to Madjac tonight. So now's the time to get you guys because I don't think anyone else has nearly as high a vigilant as he does. So now's the time to spring the ambush. And then we'll go to Melissa. Melissa, tell us about Rowena.
Rowena and her 7 vigilant is not so good with that. So Rowena is the party nerd. She's tall, slender. She's carries all the books, so she's always a little bit kind of stooped over with her, the weight of all of the books. Euphrinda is the one that she studies under with Ordo Magica, so she is always seeking approval and will never obtain that goal. But she keeps trying anyway. She was the sole survivor of a little kind of trip outward, and that might have a little something to do with, the feelings and how she's treated there. So, yeah.
I think Euphrinda is doing an excellent job preparing you for a life in academia. Is basically what she's doing. I feel like Jerry was saying how like the last time we saw Euphrinda, he's like, okay, she's not so bad actually. Maybe she's not as bad as I thought she was. And I'm like, see, that's how they lure you in. Then they crush your soul and steal your paper. That's what it is. Oh goodness. Did I ever tell you, Jeremy, about the time I had a student plagiarize me?
Yes. He sent you your own paper.
Yeah, he's every.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I had to write a critical analysis review of a rhetoric book, and I put it out, and we published it online, and then my student referenced it, but literally plagiarized me. I'm going through it and reading this, and I'm like, this sounds really familiar, and because it was a couple years back, but this sounds really familiar. And then I remember talking to him, and he was just like. I'm like, how long did it take you to read and finish this? He's like, oh yeah, I knocked it over the weekend. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. When I wrote it took me 3 months, the whole semester. But hey, that's fine. It's fine. Graduate. Good times. Anyhow, academia, fun times. And then finally, Jeremy, tell us about Gwydion.
You know who won't commit plagiarism? Gwydion, because he has a code of honor. Although he is a barbarian warrior and he's got a bad temper, but he does have the code of honor. He does whatever his clan needs him to, as much as he hates it. Including taking care of Dismas, who he's going to have to go find again, which is fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for
Dude.
having him run around yelling about a changeling assassin, by the way. That's great.
I know that wasn't him.
Yeah,
That's
that
not him,
was.
brother.
No, that you guys
Ugh.
set that up.
Mm-hmm.
He's going after
was-
a chicken thief.
It was
Oh,
a chicken
wait.
thief and
Oh,
cultist
God.
stuff. And, like, there's a lot of stuff that he was talking about. Plus, it's Dismas. So, like, you're just
Yeah,
letting-
let's be fair.
Yeah. Yeah,
What we
he's like a
communicate
lit
to
stick
do
of
versus
dynamite.
What he does.
Yeah. Okay.
It's probably going to be
Alright.
safer just to keep him with us from now on.
Mm-hmm. Safer
As
for
weird
whom,
as
though?
that sounds.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
we have to?
Yeah.
Hey, we'll see what he's been up to. I'm really curious.
I did take it as a burden, so
Mhm.
in fairness. Plus, just
I mean,
if
we
you let
didn't take
Jeff
it as a
have him
burden.
off
Do
screen,
we get the XP? Do
I know,
we get
right?
the XP for having him around as our
No, I'm
burden too?
sorry. That's not how that works. So if
You're
you want to
welcome.
get Gwydion out of the party, you're welcome to do so. I mean, you don't need a tank. What do you need a tank for? Like, you don't need that. All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's get started. That should be fun. All right. So last time around, you all were exploring the Crystal Isle, the lake underneath Thistlehold. It's not quite immediately underneath. You had to explore a little bit, but it's basically in the underworld beneath Thistlehold. You found a witch named Baella, and who seemed to have allies or command over like this large number of wraiths who are swimming around in the water. She claimed to be alone. She claimed that she was left here by the Beast Clan, who had fled shortly after the sinkhole incident. She also confirmed some of the things that you had been discovering as you were exploring these caves, and that's that the Beast Clan, surprisingly, are the remains of Clan Jazor, who was believed to have been annihilated by the Ambrians in year 10. It's about 11 years ago. Baella explained how a woman named Helianor, who was one of the daughters of the executed chief of that clan, led some of the Jazorans and kind of fled, and they've been hiding down here ever since. And it was only now, after the sinkhole opened up, that kind of revealed their hiding place, that they have now fled. But she stayed behind. You also, after some deliberation and consideration, you all decided to make a blood oath, agreeing to not reveal details about Baella in the Isle and trying to prevent any further expeditions below. Not everybody was on board with that plan, but that's the plan that eventually got implemented. You eventually left. You climbed back up the sinkhole. You had this really tense encounter with the town watch because someone mistook Madjac's eyes, which are Jakar, like these Jakar eyes, as like abomination coming up from the depths. He cut the rope. You all fell. That pissed a few of you off, rightfully so. But when he came back up, Atolia was spitting a little fire, and the guards didn't really like that and nearly arrested her. But then Madjac gave over one of your copper discoveries, which would have been like 20 or 30 thaler, as a donation to the town watch, and that kind of caused cooler heads to prevail. You also noticed, I think it was Atolia and Madjac noticed that the Lysindra Golden Grasp, that hunter, that well-known fortune hunter, was kind of on the streets, but didn't really seem willing to talk to you in front of everybody. And then you all went and visited Eufrinda and Culinantheria, the two magisters at Ordo Magica. Eufrinda kept the Mind Stone that you had discovered, but she did let you keep the Demon Stone, as we're calling it, and many of the alchemical ingredients. And you got paid 25 thaler for your troubles. And then you guys started going through Anadea's things. She noted how the sun symbol suggested that Anadea is likely affiliated with the Sun Church and perhaps could have been an initiate or an adept. And then the key that she had, that you also found on her body, while unremarkable, probably means that she owned property or she had access to a place. And there are records for that, but unfortunately the records are very, very tightly kept, and only the mayor and the Queen's Legate actually have that information. And so then you all decided to go your separate ways. So we're going to start up then with Madjac not here. We're going to go right to Jinzo then. So Jinzo, where do you go? So we say like we picture you all. You're leaving the Tower of Ordo Magica, south side of the city. Everyone's kind of going off in their different directions. We know Atolia is heading back to Blackmoor, probably, I think, or are you going to go to the Witch and Familiar? Okay, so you're going to head back to Blackmoor.
Blackmoor.
Okay. Rowena, she probably has a room within the tower itself. And then we'll get to Gwyddy in a second. But where does Jinzo head late at night? Where do you go?
Yeah, I've got a small home somewhere in the square.
Okay.
Father's probably worried about me. It's been a day I've been missing. So I'll probably return home, tell him I'm actually alive.
Okay, so when we say the square, which one are we talking about? We're talking about like western side, Queen Square? Are you like near all the crafters and stuff like that? Or what are we thinking? Or do you think would your home be anywhere near the sinkhole, you think?
You'd probably be near the sinkhole since I was around there in the area when it
Okay.
happened.
All right. Okay. So more than likely you might be kind of the north, like maybe northwest of the city, maybe north of Crafters area, maybe kind of west of the North Gates and stuff, west of like the Slaughterhouse and some of those other places, west of Toad Square. Fortunately, we'll say that your home was not affected, was outside the radius of the sinkhole itself. So you're able to, when you arrive, you go up to it, you can see that this is probably the first time as you're traveling. You climbed up the sinkhole itself, but you also are now traveling back in the darkness of the city. You can see that there's goblins that are kind of scurrying about, kind of cleaning up the city here and there, not uncommon in the hours before dawn. You can see that there's only a handful of actual traffic anywhere on the streets, and most of which you see are town guards kind of doing their sweeps. Periodically, you hear the sounds of like whispering and skittering in some of the alleyways here and there. But as somebody who's lived here for some time, you kind of know not to chase too many things, too many shadows. But when you arrive, we'll say the door opens. Is it a nice home? Is it like an average home? Like, what do we think this is? I know Jinzo's pretty well off, but like...
It's probably average to nice.
Okay. So you go inside, and is it just your father, or do you have any other people living with you?
It's probably just him.
Okay, so you go inside. It's very dark. There might be like a little bit of candlelight coming down from somewhere, but you hear the voice, very familiar voice of your father, just suddenly grab up. Whoever's there, I'm armed, and you turn around right this instant. I'll run you through.
Oh, that's me, Jinzo.
Jinzo? Oh, and you hear the sounds of like pattering of feet. And you see him running around. He's like in like his sort of small clothes, like you literally woke him up. Oh my boy, I thought you were dead. And he comes rushing towards you. He's got his blade in his hand, but he kind of puts it over to the side, and he kind of wraps his arms around you. He kind of pulls you into this big old pair of eyes. I thought you'd fallen. You lucky fool. And he got you in like this big bear hug. What would you say your father looks like in terms of like age? Like, how old is he?
Middle age, probably 40s. He's a rugged man.
All right. Because Jincho's like younger. He's like in his 20s or something like that. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. He's like, what on earth? He kind of pushes you back. What's happened to you? Where have you been this whole time? What? You had me worried sick. Do you have any idea? Whoa, wait, how many people I paid looking for you? Oh my God. Oh my goodness. My goodness, boy, tell me everything.
The sinkhole consumed me. I've been gone for the entire day.
You fell down the hole?
Yes.
And he kind of puts his hand up to you. You were found. Those creatures, I've heard, the abominations, whatever they were, coming out there. How did you avoid detection? How did they not? And he's like kind of spinning you around and like looking for, what happened here and here and he's like, you have taken some damage. What? Oh my goodness, boy. Oh my goodness. What did you see below? Were there more of them? The rumors, they've run wild. They say there's an entire colony of them, that they've dragged people down from the streets and they're stripping them of their skin and eating their innards. Tell me the truth, boy.
I've only seen mere beasts. I'll explain to them the creatures we fought.
Well, that makes no sense. The sinkhole opened up, and then these bestial things, these humans, they were abominations, and they weren't animals. They came up and they killed and they dragged, and you didn't see any of them down there, you say? None?
You didn't see anything like that, right?
No, you didn't. The only thing you saw was Biella, which you have made a blood oath not to tell anyone about.
Nothing crazy like that, Father.
Well, think Prios, you are right. The Lawbringer's mercy is most Most just and most welcome. Are you hungry? Have you eaten? What can we do?
I've had nothing. That sounds amazing. Some food would be nice.
Yes. Sit. And he starts kind of going about, kind of collecting some things. He's got some bread and some dried meats. Nothing particularly fancy. And he's just kind of bringing you over. And he's like, "My boy fell into the sinkhole and lived to tell the tale." I've heard already at the Abomatorium they're thinking of creating an entire production based around the battle. Not now. Now would be very insensitive, but perhaps months from now we might have it. Yes, and with your in-depth knowledge, you would be well. We would definitely want to hear more of your exploits. If there's creatures below there, we want to know more about it so we can make it more vivacious and interesting, accurate. Yes.
Yes, they'll probably want to talk to me about that.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. There's money to be had here, boy. There's money to be had. Oh, never let an opportunity go to waste. Yes. Well. And so we'll say like that scene kind of plays itself out, kind of talk a bit. He kind of pesters you with questions. You tell him about the people you met, maybe to some degree, and you tell him about the various creatures you fought. Never once mentioning Biella. Eventually you go to bed that night, find your room, he finds his room, and we fade out of there. Atolia, you want to head back to Blackmore, you said. Give me a vigilant test as you do so with a -2 as you approach the eastern gates themselves. And you can see that there is a handful of these town watch guards on duty. They're looking mostly out from the gates, but there's a handful of others that are lingering about, kind of staring at the streets coming up. Tell me how you do.
I succeed with a result margin of 1, even with a -2.
Okay. You noticed more than once as you're traveling towards the gates themselves that, much like Jinzo, you hear the sounds of people in the shadows and skittering about here and there. Except once or twice you actually noticed a shadow kind of moving across some of the rooftops, and you kind of peek over one of your shoulders at one point, and you're pretty certain you're being followed.
Can I sort of pretend to trip or fall towards maybe a bush on the side of the road? And once I'm kind of out of sight, pull out my unnoticeable.
Okay. Let's do maybe a discreet roll as you try to make it look realistic that you stumble behind some stacks of crates or maybe into an alleyway or something like that. Yeah, give me a discreet roll. Flat is fine.
Haha.
Okay.
Natural 1.
You are a brilliant comedic and physical actor as you stumble and
Buster
trip.
Keaton.
And you're behind this. You're quickly behind this stack of old empty crates in an alleyway, and you quickly turn into your unnoticeable, which I believe is a resolute to resolute, right?
Yeah, so that changes it essentially. It changes instead of vigilant, someone has to do a resolute, which gives me a bit better of an advantage. Okay,
so your resolute will be. So you're rolling a resolute against contested with them, +3
yes.
for you this time. Yeah, you get +3 in a row. Resolute +3.
I'm just going to do this so that I think I should be able to do a resolute that way. A resolute against resolute with 3. Oh yeah.
Okay, you managed to quickly duck around. You look up and you see the shadow. You don't get a very good look at them. They're above any kind of lantern light, so you really just see the shadow moving, but you're able to focus on them for a brief second, and you quickly start to shimmer and step kind of backwards. And you can see while this is happening, when you're done with your spell here, you can see that they are kind of scrambling back and forth, and they're looking down one alley, they're scrambling backwards, and they're looking down in another. You see them kind of constantly searching, and they don't seem to notice you. What would you like to do now?
She is going to see if we can't get a good look at this person that's been following them on the rooftop.
Okay, you're going
and
to.
yeah.
Okay, do you want to like cross over and try to climb up, or do you want to just like just sort of peek up if you can?
Oh, I might be a bit too curious for this. I'm gonna try to get up on the roof to take a good look without on the opposite side. Are we talking pointy roofs or flat roofs?
They're pointy. Yeah. They're like
okay. Then
gabled.
If the person is on this side, I want to be on like the opposite pointed side of the roof.
Okay. Just give us a quick test.
Okay.
Flat is fine.
This is where I'm okay with a margin of 0.
You scramble up, and you know, there's a couple like little crunches of like the tiles and such, but they don't seem to alert the person who's at this point is like kind of walking down this alleyway. Like they're on the roof still, but they're like walking near the edge and they're peeking and they're peeking and they're peeking. You take a look over top of the point of the roof. They are, you know, dark clothes. You can certainly tell, like, you know, leather or armor probably of some kind, but you can see kind of a dark cloak here and there. At one point, when they start to pace back towards the front, you see their face for just a moment. It looks like a woman. You would probably peg her like, you know, 30s or 40s or so, but she's just human, I should say. And she's just kind of moving back up and forth. And at a certain point, she kind of stops. And then you watch her take a couple steps back, almost like for a moment, it looks like she sees you as she starts running back up towards the peak. But then she turns, runs away from you, and leaps across to the other rooftop. And you just see her leap and kind of land on the other side. It's not some sort of supernatural leap, but just a normal leap. The rooftops are close enough here and there. And you can see that she's continuing to do the same thing, kind of like walking along the edge here and there of the rooftop.
Okay, but no like queen's markings, no red hair. Don't know this woman.
Honestly, she didn't really have any like noticeable markings that would align her with like a faction that is used to showing its marks, right? Like everything was very ordinary, kind of plain and dark.
Then I will quietly slip off of the roof and continue heading home, kind of keeping more to the shadows than I normally would, even with my unnoticeable up.
And with your unnoticeable, eventually you kind of peek over your shoulder and she starts going in the wrong direction, and you're able to slip out the gates with a little bit of questioning by the guards here and there, but you're leaving as opposed to coming, and so they're probably less concerned with that. And we'll say you make it home. Okay. We're gonna jump to morning, and we're gonna check in on Gwydion. Gwydion, where did you go and rest your head for the evening? Where did we find you waking up?
Underground in that terrible, terrible place. He doesn't really want to stay on our roof. He probably actually went back to the witches' camp on the outskirts of town. Also, on the off chance if your friend that let us keep any of the broken pottery, he probably would have gone to deliver that and share what is within the realm of what he can share with them.
Okay. Is this something you do late at night, or is this something you wait and do in the morning?
Probably late. Like if they would have let him, he would have just camped there because he would rather stay outside after being stuck. And if they don't want to talk at night, that's fine. He can just he'll be polite and wait.
We'll say that you approach the witches' camp. It's late at night, very dark. You get out the gates, similar to Tolia. It takes a little doing. Like you get kind of questioned significantly, but again, because you're leaving, like they're probably less as inclined, but they find it kind of highly suspicious. And the fact that you're a barbarian as well, like you get a little bit of harassment, but you eventually get let out, and you hear like phrases like, "It's your funeral. If you get attacked by something out there, we're not opening the gates to let you back in. You're on your own."
Yep, nothing new. Thank you.
Eventually, you make it out towards the witches' camp. You're by yourself, and you can see the fire that helps. You can see that there are the two gigantic colossi that are just sort of sitting in the background, heaving a little bit here and there. They kind of eye you a little bit as you approach. You can kind of see the reflection of the orange and red fire over their bark-like skin as they're watching you. And you realize there's only one witch that seems to be here. You can see what looks like Ephronea. She has like this. Her mask is also very bark-like, and you can see branches kind of coming out of it on either side. It's colorful with a kind of a painted-on face. Give me a vigilant test at one sec -1.
Okay. This is definitely my strong suit. Got this. -1. Got this. I can do this.
Without the
would've
-1,
made
you
it
would have had
if
it.
it wasn't for the -1. So close. It's okay. What?
You see Ephronea. She's sitting at the fire, and she is like carefully tending it with this long branch. Says nothing in your approach. You hear the heaving breaths or whatever it might be, or just the shifting movement of colossi. Who the hell knows if they even breathe?
Mm-hmm.
And right as you're about to say something, you feel something sharp and kind of dig into your throat a bit. And you hear the familiar voice of Gadramon. What is this? A barbarian of his god? Why are you here?
Apparently to learn how to be more aware of my surroundings.
I see. Well, we are not tutors in such ways. You will have to find
fair.
another.
That's fair. I figured I would share what little I did get from underground. And whatever pieces of pottery your friend didn't take. Or if there is any. I'm not fully recalling how that went. If she kept all of it.
Yeah, I'm fine with you saying you got to keep some. I think that's okay. She, like, because they're broken, they would probably not fetch a pretty penny to like the various folks in the antique square, but to the right person, maybe even barbarians themselves, it might actually have more value.
Yeah, because he's not looking in that sense. It's more of like showing them proof of what we saw, and being able to tell a story without telling the story, and just kind of lay them out, minimal speaking.
So he takes the blade away from your neck, and you realize it was just like kind of a sharpened bone blade. Takes it away. You may sit, and you start laying out the pottery on the ground, like by the fire. And the two of them, like, they're both masked. He's got this scary kind of hideous looking mask with like a sewn in face, colorful like streaks of like red and grays. And he has like in the fire, when you just get the mask and everything else is dark, he looks like he could be like a villain, like he's gonna leap across the fire at any point and just rip your soul from you. But you nonetheless hear his voice. You hear him say, "These are. Do you know what these are?"
I do, and I know who the winged lady is that led the host that came from the pit.
He like lifts his head up, and the two of them again. They exchange this look, both masked, looking at each other. No voice. Is that so? And who is that?
Eleanor, daughter of Clan Dezora. The people are much changed.
And he kind of nods. I see you are not as thick-headed as you might first appear.
I'm thick-headed enough, but maybe not in the right ways. I think learning that there's a part of me that maybe grieves for the people that came up from there actually hurts worse than it being stabbed by them.
That just means it is because you are a man of empathy. There is nothing necessarily wrong with that. They were a clan, and now they are not. Now they are something worse, something terrible. And it is kind of like motions in the directions of Thistlehold. And it is they who done it?
Yeah. And I'm not fully aware of what my part in this will need to be, but I understand it should continue to be something that I'm responsible for in some way. I wouldn't expect you to teach me how to keep an eye on anything, but now that I maybe have had like a little bit more feel for what was there, the feeling of corruption, like even a righteous fury being twisted into something terrible. I know my temperament, my making. I'm not at all anybody that would be appropriate for like witchcraft or anything of that nature. But you understand how to focus when the corruption is present. I wouldn't shirk any responsibility, but if you're willing, teach how to stay centered. I would appreciate it, because being able to smash in people's faces will probably not be enough if it can make you smash the wrong faces. I'd gladly take on any work that you need me to do or any responsibility you put my way, but I can only assume this will get worse and not
you
better.
hear this cackle come from like beneath Ephraimiah's mask. You babble, barbarian.
I do.
Babble.
I'm not good at asking for favors. I'm sorry. Can you fucking train me or not?
Maybe. We shall see. Sit, tell us
Okay.
more. We do not
will.
do things for free. Is that not how your Ambrian friends? Nothing for free. Everything is trade in exchange. We shall
That's
help
true.
you.
They do it for coin. I assume you want action. I prefer dealing in action.
Need no action from you. Just information. Tell us everything you saw. Everything you have learned. And perhaps it will be of value to us. And then we might make a trade. It is that
I
simple.
will, in as much as I can. I'm going to be very candid with you because I'm not good at subterfuge.
And so he starts by saying, you said, Eleanor, you are certain of this?
Yes.
And he motions down to the broken pottery on the ground in the dirt next to the fire. And what is it that you see in this broken pottery that makes you so certain? Are you a soothsayer now? And you can hear
No.
Ephraimiah just... Well, why are you so certain?
I can't tell you.
Oh, this is a bad start. You want
I
something
know it
from
is.
us? The first question I ask you, you are already evading.
I don't want to evade it. I will tell you honestly, despite how I look and how I sound, I don't have the desire to murder every problem that puts itself in my way. And I will not tell you anything that I swore not to say, but I am bound by oath and by blood not to divulge certain things.
Ah, I
And
see.
in the face of corruption, I feel it's all the more important to keep oaths.
I see an oath keeper. I see.
Yes.
Well, I did not know Eleanor, but she was a very fierce daughter of Chief Alaban. He had others. Rajika, she was the oldest, unyielding as her father. If you ever find yourself in the old Jazoran fields, look for a large willow tree beyond the river Dodrum. It was there that the Ambrian steel surrounded Rajika and her forces, driving them back and back and back. And you notice that every time he does this, like, the colossi are like, kind of like shifting in perfect time and rhythm, driving them back and cutting them down until the last of her Jezites fell. It said that an Ambrian sword cut through Rajika, and the willow began to weep. And since that day, the willow has not yielded. Eleanor was younger, fiercer, desperate to prove herself to her father. If you say she is still alive, perhaps you are right. But since you cannot tell me more and tell me why you believe this, then it's just a guess.
I understand.
So
I
just kind of nods a bit.
Gwydion will not even try to like pretend to be subtle about it. Like he's not gonna try and play Madjac's way of like twisting words. He just admits like, no, I've got something I can't tell you.
As to your plan, have you found this cult that the young Ambrian woman spoke so frequently about and tried to recruit us to her aid? Have you found it?
No, we do have some more leads we're gonna try and follow up shortly.
Have you learned anything more?
There was like a weird glowing orb thing. She's probably like an actual agent of the church. And he'll give his best recounting of what your friend has shared.
Okay.
Granted, through the lens of like what Gwydion understands of what your friend has said, so it's maybe not the best recounting, but a very earnest and sincere recounting.
Okay. So yeah, like
He's
Gadramon
not
could
a person of
basically,
secrets.
yeah, Gadramon could basically kind of confirm that what what Euphrinda and I can't remember the adept's name, Gandalar or something, where he kind of talked about like under moss and roots and the trails of the crawlers and the kind of like the thus spoke Eroletta, but Gadramon isn't able to offer any further insight.
There's some weird elven place that is a place but isn't really a place about tears or something, and
yes, it is a place that Ephaniah and I have never been. We are not elves, but we have heard the stories, rumors. Perhaps you will find your way there someday. Perhaps you will find wisdom there. Perhaps you will find someone to whom you can share this secret you have inside of you. If not, that is fine as well. Well, it is very late, Mr. Barbarian. We shall sleep. We shall talk more in the morning if you wish, but for now, we shall rest. And perhaps a dream sight might come to you, and you might foretell yet another wonderful tale to us. And you just...
It's become clear to me I was meant to be not just a diplomat, but a tale teller, clearly. That's what this face was made for.
Yes. You are such an accomplished diplomat indeed.
I was very rude.
It is fine. Sleep. And so we'll fade out of that. Check in with Rowena. Rowena, did you do anything in the night after your meeting with Euphrinda? If you've done anything in the morning, like where do you wake up? Do we wake up in like a dorm in the tower? You probably would be able to get one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think if she can avoid paying for a room, she will definitely see if her, good works have earned her, a free room and board for the night.
Yeah, as an adept, I think, and because you are specifically under the tutelage of Euphrinda, and you have done well a couple times in a row now, so I don't think you would have any issues getting a dorm, or not a dorm. It's not like you have like a big room. It's pretty basically like a small closet, and there is a small mattress on one side and maybe a foot locker. Sure. Okay. We'll say morning comes. And when you wake up, kind of go about your normal business, whatever training that you're supposed to do, whatever studying that you have to do. Euphrinda, when you wake up, is not there. You can see that she has already left for the day on tasks. She said she was going to try to perhaps organize a meeting on your behalf with Mayor Nightpitch, but that is easier said than done. What would Rowena do like first thing in the morning? What's her day like? We'll say.
I would say that she is very much about her books and sort of recording history. So I would say that she is definitely like, if there was anything about sort of the mapping or, anything like that she was a little too rushed to be able to do previously. So she's definitely kind of finishing up any notes that she had maps of the sinkhole and below, and any accounting of everything that they handed over. So she's just all about her notes and just thoroughness, leaving out what wasn't said aloud, but all of the rest of it.
So you attempt to sketch a map, basically, of the caves. Give me a cunning test as you retroactively try to craft a map from the tunnels and caves that you went into.
I missed by 1, 16 over 15.
You have a basic understanding of like where the lake is relative to the room that had the gigantic rubble hill. Where you're unsure of is that kind of section between the hot spring and how you reached and made it to the to that small like apartment area where clearly the clan had been hanging out in. It was dark. There wasn't any lights. You were having to deal with a lot of like twists and turns, and so you're kind of pretty vague. So there's like some gaps, but you understand like some basic places. Okay, and then once those morning studies are done, Rowena, what do you do after that?
I would say that I don't remember that we did, but I'm going to say that we determined a meeting point that we were all going to kind of meet up with each other because we were going to kind of head elsewhere.
Where would that be? Would that be like the Witch and the Familiar? Would it be the Adovikar Tavern? Those are the two taverns and inns we've been to. Would one of those be it?
Let's say Witch and Familiar would be where we...
Okay.
Gwydion looks less than pleased with my choice there.
Okay. It's where a lot of like the fake, like the new to the area Ambrian show up, and they're like, "Oh, is this like a barbarian? Oh my god!" Like people who are kind of new. It's like the tourist place. But we'll say
there's a legit witch there. However,
no, there's totally a legit witch
there.
Adele's there. Yeah. Okay, so we'll say Rowena, you go and you hang out there. How about Atolia? When morning comes, you have a not dissimilar meeting with your mother, who probably wasn't maybe there when you got in at night, but is there in the morning and is like, maybe preparing breakfast or some sort of porridge, whatever it might be. When you come out, and I'm not great with Irish accents, but I'm going to give it a go. Like, where you been, lass? What's wrong with you? I could do French if you want.
No.
I've heard I'm very good at French.
It's good. No, it pleases my soul.
Well, I'll be fucked. That's all I got. Well, I'll be fucked. I told you, you're back. Oh, goodness.
See, it's a lot easier when you swear, isn't it?
Yeah. It's weird how that works, right? Like, light of my life. Oh, goodness. And she comes over. And she comes over and I thought with the letter I received that I wouldn't see you for weeks.
Well, I didn't know how big the fucking hole we were digging into was, so I figured it'd be better to send that. I got a bit of thaler for you.
Well, next time you could come say it to my face and say you leave. You don't have to write it. I don't know how to read. I didn't understand half of it, but I got, the neighbors came over. They were much better at reading it, and they were very confused at times as well. Like, why is she going into the hole? She runs bread for you. What is she doing going into the hole? And I said, I don't know why she's going into the hole. Why were you going into a hole? I told you. You asked for it.
It's so good. Thank you. I'm so red. Oh. I thought you might talk to Father Salvora for the translation, but I'm glad you actually got to read it. I went down the hole because a bunch of corruption came out, and I got to go help deal with that and get a bit of money on the side.
I tried to go over to the soup kitchen, but he's not there. He wasn't there yesterday. He wasn't there today. Rumor has it that the things are not great for him over in Thistlehold, and he hasn't made it out to the soup kitchen since this whole mess started happening. But some of his priests, some of his folk are there. And so they're the ones who told me. They're the ones who helped. They're the ones who made sure that I understood it in its totality.
I'm surprised because I saw him in Thistlehold with a goblin called Skunk, and apparently he was coming back here. But I'm shocked to hear he didn't make it.
Well, don't. It's strange times. Everybody, we've heard the stories. There's a giant hole in the ground. People are saying
that's the one I went into.
I know. Why did you go into it? You know, there's demons and such came out of it, and the baker's daughter goes down into a hole. It makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. Eventually,
you'll be able to buy proper armor, and then you'll actually see.
You look terrible. You look like you fell down a hole. Look at you. You got smudges all over your face.
I did heal myself up a little bit last night, so I don't look as terrible as you say. Thank you very much.
Really terrible.
No, I don't think I do.
I almost didn't recognize you. I thought you were a ruffian come to rob me.
Oh, yes, you would have ladled me if you thought I was some ruffian. All right on that. All right, look, I'm heading back to Thistlehold again today. I'll keep an eye out.
Are you going back into the hole?
I'm going back. Well, no, not today anyway.
Well, if you're going to go somewhere and you're going to die because of it, you come and tell me to my face that you're going somewhere you're going to die. You don't write it.
Well, all right.
It's a decent thing to do.
I promise next time I'm going into a hole in which to die. I'll let you know beforehand.
A deal. Wait. Okay. Deal? Okay. So we'll say, Atolia, you start heading back to town. Jinzo, do you head back and meet up with the group, or is there anything else that you were looking to do as well?
Just a little morning session at the Abomatorium, and then I can head over to the tavern.
Okay. When you head over to the Abomatorium, you know that fight day is still a ways away, and like the big scuttlebutt for the day is whether or not like they're going to even have it. There's a lot of like debate going on with some of the fighters and some of the organizers about whether having like a big violent melee is the best thing for the town just a few days after the town witnessed a gigantic melee where people died and were dragged under. So there's a lot of like arguments back and forth. And so, you know, when you come into the fighting grounds, you can see there's people dueling. They got like, they got like dueling swords out. No one's really got their proper like weaponry out. But you hear like folks calling out like arguments or like, oh, don't take their mind off it. And then you start swinging and clink, 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 and like, take their mind off it. How can you possibly get your mind taken off the fact that there's a giant fucking hole in the gosh darn city? And like they're kind of swinging back and forth. So Jinzo, what position do you take as you like come in and start getting up and involved in this little activity here?
Yeah, I come swinging in. Like, we should keep our minds on it. Have the people look for something to look up to.
Look, you mean like inspiration? Like what's
exactly.
supposed to? I don't know, Jinzo. It's pretty hard to inspire folks who just got absolutely devastated. We're talking dozens of people. Who knows what's down there? Who knows what terrible things? Like they were coming up out of the ground. They were dragging people down there. I don't know. And like, and this is all like happening in the middle of like this basic fight, this basic like sparring fight and such.
Well, I know what's been down there because I just came up from it.
You went down. Oh, bullshit on that, Jinzo. You didn't go down. No one can go down the sinkhole. They got barricade up. All the town watchers around it. They ain't letting anyone down, least of all you. You're not a fortune hunter. You don't have an explorer's license. What are you talking about? Yeah, this guy goes down into the sinkhole. That's rich. No. Let's hear him out. You went down there. Why did you go down there?
I didn't have much of a choice. It kind of took me in. It opened up under me.
One of those creatures took you in? You got dragged under?
I'll embellish a bit. Just play into it. Yeah, creature took me.
Oh my goodness. And you're alive to tell the tale, and like I don't see a third eye or some sort of strange mark on your face, and your feet don't look like talons. So I guess you're all right. How did you get away?
A nice group found me. Fought our way up.
A nice group found you. There's a nice group in the tunnels below. This is the stupidest story I ever heard. You got dragged under and you found some nice people in the tunnels below, and you got quit your bullshitting there, Jinzo. Quit your bullshitting. Oh goodness. Absolutely ridiculous, this guy. You've got no shame, and no style. There's nothing good down there. It can only be terrible things down there. Now, come on, give him a chance. So what else did you see down there?
There's these lizard people.
Lizard people? What the hell are you talking about? Lizard people?
They're giant white creatures, look like lizards.
Well, were they giant lizards or were they lizard people? Because that's a very important distinction.
About the size of people. Like 5 of them.
Okay, but still, so they're not lizard people. They're just really big lizards. He's talking about Virans. We fight them half the time. Once a year, we bring them in here. Part of the bloody melee. What's wrong with you? No, he said lizard, but you heard him say lizard people. Which was it, Jinzo? Was it lizard people?
Nah, it doesn't say as Virans.
Oh. Well, why'd you get me all excited? I thought they were lizard. All right, so you fought Viren. Congratulations, you went into some caves beneath the frickin' surface, and you fought a bunch of Virens. This isn't a very exciting tale, Jinzo. What else happened down there?
What about water sports? There's these manta ray creatures. We've never fought in water before.
Manta ray? What the fuck's a manta ray?
We had a winged beast. I don't know how to describe it.
Like a bird?
Yes, but they're underwater.
Well, I would think it'd be very easy to fight a bird underwater.
Yes, but they're not exactly birds.
Well, okay, so you got dragged into a hole. You met some very nice people, apparently, who are definitely not lizard people, but you fought some lizards, and then you fought some birds underwater, even though they're not really birds. Okie dokie, you sure you didn't just get drunk, and just fall into the street and bang your head again?
I definitely got drunk, but this sure wasn't the streets this time.
Okay, well.
But I'm telling you, this can inspire the people around us.
What part can inspire the people? What part are you talking about?
That we're able to fight off these abominations for the whole.
Well, you went and fell into the hole. The rest of us up here were fighting the abominations off. That's our story to tell, not yours. You were meeting nice people and having picnics with birds and lizards. We're up here fighting abominations left and right, dragging our children down alleyways and down into the holes. We got to fight them off with our not with our bare hands. We got weapons and such, but what do you say, bare hands? It's got the sound to it, you know?
Yeah, so we'll just put our stories together. All one giant act.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll workshop it a bit, we'll pitch it. We'll continue to think about it. Maybe if you had some juicy details, something else down there, something even fancier, like were more of those demon-like creatures down there? Did you fight them off like 10 to 1? Did you find like a breeding ground or something where you had to slay them? Or there was like a giant queen that was like laying eggs and they were popping out of them or something? Maybe?
Yeah, that sounds good. We can work on that.
Okay, yeah. See, I always thought they laid eggs. And so we'll fade out of that scene with him nodding.
I love it.
Laying eggs. Okay. So, does everyone eventually find their way back to the tavern? We'll say, okay.
We do.
All right. So you make it. So everyone eventually, at some point, we'll say midday-ish, midday or so. Like morning is spent doing other things, odds and ends, lessons, etc. And eventually, you all make it back, and you reunite one by one. within the Witch and the Familiar. So Jinzo, you didn't hear this before, but like the Witch and the Familiar is interesting in that like there's like no furniture really. It's just like moss and grass and things like that, and the rooms themselves are just like coats of moss, and sometimes there's like piled up leaves and furs and things like that. It's not like your traditional kind of tables and chairs and things like that. But we'll say eventually, as you all arrive and you kind of share your various experiences, you see that first of all, Madjac's not here, and secondly, at a certain point, Gwydion, one of the people who works here will come up and they'll say, "Pardon me, Mr. Gwydion. I have a message for you from your protege."
Oh.
Yes,
Okay.
he was looking for you yesterday eve. He sent this message very late. And so I'm going to go ahead and share with you something, Gwydion.
Oh no.
So this is going to be...
It's a secret.
All right, so it's only going to go to Jeremy. All right. Hopefully you should have gotten that. Did it pop up for you?
My screen's being just a little slow, but now I have it.
Okay. You're welcome to read it if you like, or not. It's up to you.
As we all just like are staring over at Gwydion. Like,
And you
I
can
wonder
see
what's-
he's like unfurls this stained, crumpled piece of paper. You can tell there's like a little string wrapped around it. You've seen goblin messengers around town, and sometimes crossing all the way over into Blackmore and such. You see it, so it's not an uncommon sight to see something like this. Someone sent him a message.
elbowing Atolia. Like, somebody left him a note. Wonder what he's. I wonder what he knows now.
Well,
I'll share it with Rowena since it's got your name on it too. Our little friend was busy. This is gonna bite us in the ass. I know it is. Why does he
What?
say we? He found some folks that want to help.
What is it?
I'll just pass him. I'll read it out.
Okay.
He pass it to you.
Yeah, okay.
Before we
Okay.
get
Go
a
ahead.
little bit too much into the group business, is that fellow there going to be following us from now on? Sorry, what was your name, Jinzo?
Yes, it's Jinzo.
Oh,
Pleasure.
hey,
Yeah, you're here
Safaf,
for now
how
on
are
now?
you?
I was invited here, so I guess so.
All right, well, just making sure.
Well, it seemed after we shared payment that this would just continue on until its natural conclusion. Yes, Jinzo?
I don't mind at all.
Yeah, I mean, it means
Excellent.
less stabbing for me, so I'm fine with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, as long as I'm not getting stabbed as much because there's more bodies to hit, then sure, I'll take it.
That's math.
Well,
I
I'm not getting
respect
stabbed
that.
either, but I'll do the stabbing.
You know.
Can you like? I mean, I'll read it
Yeah.
out if you're not going to read it out, but,
No,
or you can just read it out.
No, I'll read it out. I didn't want to interrupt earlier.
Okay.
Gwydion spent the day like you and Raina told me, asking around about the cult. I found some folks who want to help. We're hiding in the old Catchpole's place near Bonegos. Come as soon as you can. I do not remember if you can read this mess. Oh, he's such a little shit. It's funny because he's making fun of me, but he doesn't even know if I can read the insult. Sometimes I actually really enjoy him. I just don't know if I can read. oh, that little shithead's gonna get us killed. Old Catchpole's place.
So I'm assuming that means something to you. Is that something that would be on our way to where we said we were going to go and look more into the sun god?
It is not. It is on the opposite side of town. And you would know this, Gwydion. The Catchpole, so Benegos is north of the sinkhole. It's near the slaughterhouse, a little southwest of the slaughterhouse. Whereas the Sun Church is kind of eastern middle of the town, kind of in the direction of the eastern gate. So they're not close to one another.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. If there's like church business to be had, I'm maybe not the face to have there. And we know if I don't go get him, he's going to say something to get himself killed or, do something dumb.
Well, another point of interest, I'm kind of, the verb hiding is an interesting one for him to have used here.
That's fair. I don't always put a lot of thought into what he says.
Well,
But
that's
that's a good
exactly it,
point.
because he's usually quite brash and not hiding.
That's a good catch, actually, Atolia. That is an interesting word.
But it's
No, we're-
probably because the people told him they need to hide. I don't think that was his
Gwydion-
choice of words.
Gwydion, I don't mean no offense, but does Dismas know how to write? Is this his? Proper?
I mean, yeah, he's actually a pretty sharp kid. He's just
All right.
a jackass.
So this is definitely his hand then?
Yes. Because he's written me letters before.
And it's
All right.
written like in like the dialect of your clan. Like you can tell like this is, and it is his handwriting. So it does look
yeah.
authentic.
So, I mean, let's be honest. I wanted an excuse not to go to the church. And we all know the best thing to do in times of investigation is to split the party. Always split the party. So it breaks my heart that I'm not going to the church. But I'll also be keeping him away from the church. You're welcome. I'm not bringing him to the church.
I might be better off not going to the church either and leaving it to the local folk.
Oh.
But just as a side note, speaking of churches, Father Sarvola from Blackmore has also not been home recently. So if you're going to the church, maybe check on that as well.
Okay, I think that's something we can do. And so Rowena sort of looks at Jinzo and is like, "You're coming to the church, right?"
Yes, day at Prius, a prayer.
Yep.
Yes,
Oh,
of
he's a
course.
proper fancy lad. Look at him.
Oh, definitely. This will work out well for us then.
Yeah. It's almost like it was ordained.
Sure.
Yes, Dismas ordained this. It would
Yep.
appear. That's the
Mm-hmm.
we should. Yes, that's. Marina's
I
sort
mean-
of like, we're all going to. Wait, you're not going, and wait, you're. Okay, all right. Me and the new guy.
It's fine. Look at him. Like, he's not gonna insult your mentor the first time he meets him. I think Jinzo actually knows how to
But
not
you really want me there for negotiations.
or me.
And that was a little bit more of what Marina's face was saying, not that she said that out loud in front of Jinzo. But yes, fair points, all fair points. Okay. Off to church we go.
Just remember, at the church, that's where you're not supposed to do the stabbing, Jinzo. I mean, I don't know. I don't worship Prius. Maybe he wants you to stab everybody. Maybe that's how they do their stupid shit. I don't know.
Do you usually stab at a church?
I mean, actually, sometimes, yeah. A lot of our religious affairs involve
it really
combat.
does depend. Yeah.
I mean, I got stabbed for the first time when I was 5. It was a holiday. It was great.
And you see Marina's just sort of got one of her notebooks out and she's just taking notes.
Yeah,
about,
it's a big deal. Like,
just-
you get your first knife when you turn 5. It's like 5 winters for 5 fingers. The translation doesn't exactly work out, but you get your first knife on your 5th birthday or your 5th winter. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
And then everybody
okay.
who just turned 5, they all kind of fight each other. It's supposed to be a play fight with the knives. It's a whole thing. It's great.
Oh, how interesting. How interesting. Oh, is there a name for this ceremony? Is this traditional ceremony? Is there a name for that?
No, I can't think of it off the top of my head. Jeremy can't think of it.
Oh, I
But
see.
he'll
I'm
speak
not a
some
barbarian, so
gibberish to you.
I'm not supposed to know that. That's okay. That's okay.
The ancient rite
it's
of
all right.
Rochambeau.
It's okay. No. That's fine. Now you're just kidding. No. It's fine. I was genuinely interested.
No,
in,
I really
in your
did
culture,
get stabbed
but,
when I was 5.
but no, that's
And the whole
okay.
knife
And
thing
she-
is true. You do gift it to somebody because you've survived 5 winters. You're old enough to hold on to something. The stabbing wasn't a part of the ritual. That was just an accident.
Oh, okay. And she's long since like closed the notebook, wrapped it up, put it like back on the strap. Okay. Well, I hope you and Dismas have a fantastic day together, and you too, Tolia.
Well, not a problem, but just as a point of interest before we split, how's everybody kind of looking in the health department? Are we all bleeding out? Are we okay here?
Oh, actually feeling pretty good.
Pretty good?
Minimal injuries here.
You all took 1 HP, right, for resting?
Yes.
Oh my god,
That's also why I wanted to start. Make sure
I'm back up to full hit points for the first time since session 1. I'm so happy.
Hey,
look at this. It's not bleeding out anymore. I can poke at the stitches and they don't leak anymore. Look at this.
I'm not sure you should poke that, but all right. I'm glad for you.
No, that's how you know they're working.
A random fortune hunter, like noble, walks past, trips, and accidentally stabs you in your hip. Oh, beg your pardon.
It's okay. It's part of the culture and heritage.
All right, so we'll say Gwydion and Atolia are going to follow up on this stuff with Dismas, and Rowena and Jinzo are heading to the Sun Temple. We'll start with the Sun Temple stuff. So the two of you, you head out from where you were at the Witch and Familiar, and you start heading to the eastern side of town. Again, the temple itself, and you both would know exactly where it's at. It's not like you two would have any issues. So it's you head east, relatively middle of the city, but kind of a little bit skewed eastward. And from a few roads away, maybe you're like, whether it's Harvest or Ophelia's Road or whatever it might be that you're taking, you can see a few blocks away the golden dome of the Sun Temple start to rise above some of the surrounding surrounding buildings. And you can see that across the street from where the Sun Temple is the Park of the Elders. And there's multiple roads that are kind of intersecting at this point. So Harvest Street, Thistle Street, Ophelia's Road, all of them kind of come together, and this makes this not a square so much as a park / religious structure. You can see as you're standing out in the road that it is very, very busy, which probably shouldn't surprise either of you considering everything that has been going down the last few days. But you can see that in the park itself, maybe a dozen priests are in their usual robes, are milling about, going around. They're offering blessings and comfort to various visitors who are, laying flowers down at what look like several statues and things of significant figures in the church's history. You can see that the temple itself, the sort of the steps up into it, into the grand hall, into what's called the light yard. You can see that there are these two very much larger and more pronounced statues, and there's a handful of folks there, and they lay these like autumn colored, these like fall colored flowers at the feet here and there. The two of you, being of Ambrian heritage, would probably know who those are, especially Rana with the lore master. But they are Eberron, Ambra, and Ilowena Karis. They're both like what are called light bringers, and so light bringers are. It's like think of it almost like a sainthood kind of designation, right? And the two of them are kind of heroes from the war against the Dark Lords down in Aberthor. So when the two of you approach, you can see it's extremely busy. You can see that there are crowds that are lined up to go inside the temple. You can see that there are crowds, like there's little groups of people here and there that are kind of waiting to talk to this priest or that priest that are scattered about the park. What do you two do, and how do you go about handling this? What's your plan?
Was there someone to speak to, Rowena?
I don't know that we were given a specific name of someone that we needed to speak with.
Then I'll go find a priest. See if they can offer the blessing.
Okay. So we'll say you catch the attention of one of the priests within the park. They turn over in your direction, and they're like, "Patience, my son. There are many here who need the wisdom and the mercy of Brios. There are others who have been waiting for some hours now. If your need is of greater urgency, speak the reason why. Otherwise, please step to the side and allow those who are grieving for lost loved ones to have their time and feel the warmth of Brios. And I need you, before you do anything, I need you to roll a discrete test.
Ooh.
Okay.
I'm
As unfortunately, Madjac's not the only one who's got issues sometimes. Okay, how'd you do?
I rolled a 2 under 12 for my
Well, we got a
Raina,
1.
Raina, you didn't have to roll it. Only Jinzo does. Okay. So Jinzo, he speaks to you. He kind of gives you a look over. You can see he's got this golden mask, these like kind of reddish, brownish robes, and you can tell like the man's voice is calm, collected, probably middle aged. What is it you say?
To seek a prayer from Prios and some guidance for an issue we've come.
Oh, guidance. As I said, is this of some urgency? But there are many here who seek our guidance. Speak now, or please step aside and let those behind you move forward. And you look behind you, and there's like a small family of like 2 children and a mother, and they're like, you can tell they've been probably crying for the last day and a half, and they're just waiting behind you. What do you say, Jinzo?
Yeah, I'll bring up what we currently know about Andea, and if they know anything about her.
Okay. So you bring up her name. Do you still have the symbol with you? Did you keep the symbol, her sun symbol?
I assume we have it.
I would think that we did, since they sent us here to inquire about it. I would imagine that we would have had it.
Okay. So he takes it in your hand. He takes like the symbol in his hand, and you mentioned the name Anadea. I see. Well, Father Elfino will want to be made abreast of this situation. Please, come with me. And he turns to like the family behind. Do not fret. And he like kind of motions towards another man. He's like, Brother Giono, please, could you see to this family? You see another man kind of comes over. He's like bringing a censer with him. There's like, smoke and stuff coming up. And the 2 of you are led across the street, kind of up the stairs. You're led into, and like through like those statues of the 2 light bringers. You are brought inside the light yard is kind of is what it's called, and you can see, much like the park itself, it is completely full. You can see that there are a variety of priests that are kind of set off, theurgs I should say, here and there that are speaking. You can see there's others that are kind of directing and comforting, but you are kind of pushed past them a bit. And you can see that as you go through, you're going to like a private door that seems closed, doesn't seem anyone can go or come through it. And the door opens, and you are ushered in, and the man in the kind of golden mask kind of motions you inside. And you go through a series of these like rooms and halls that get progressively less full. And you can see that the busyness of the temple seems to be mostly on like kind of the public side of things. And maybe it's just because there's so many priests that are out there moving about, but you don't really see much. You can go through some of these halls. You see tapestries of, hanging from the ceiling here and there. One of Queen Corinthia was like mounted and young, and she's amidst the sea of undead. You go by these curved corridors, upstairs, past this massive stone gate that's bolted with like these 4 sturdy locks. You're getting fairly deeper and higher up, and eventually you're led into these chambers. And there's the man who's been leading you kind of knocks on the chamber door, and you hear, "Come." And the door opens up, and it's a small windowless room. There's no furnishings whatsoever in here. There is a man kneeling on the ground. He's got his back to you. There's a lantern on the ground near him that he kind of reaches over as he does so and turns it on. And you can see like the flame begins to kind of come up a little bit brighter. And he turns and he looks at you. And you see, I would say, Rowena, a face very familiar. Jinzo, again, as an inhabitant, both of you know who Father Elfino is. This is not like a hidden person. He's the first theurg of the Sun Church. This is the big guy here, right? But he's a I wouldn't even say middle-aged. He's a younger man. He is probably early 30s or so, late 20s, something like that. He is built almost like a warrior in some ways. You can see broad-shouldered. He has this brown, long, braided hair that's just past his shoulder that he kind of moves off to the side. He's very clean. He's clean-shaven. He's got this very stern gaze. And he looks at the two of you, and he looks at the theurg who let him in here, who wanders across and kind of whispers something into his ear. And then he's like, "You may go. I shall speak with them." He leaves. And now it's just the two of you and the first theurg, Father Elfino, in this cold, empty, windowless room. But we're going to cut from there because it's fun to do that. We are going to head over instead to where Gwydion and Atolia are moving in the direction, or like you're heading over to the northwest section of town. You're having to take a wide berth around the sinkhole and the various barricades that are up that are kind of making it a little bit more difficult for you to find. You, Gwydion, would probably know who he's referring to. So as long as you're here, I think you would know the building that he refers to. There's a catch, well, basically a debt collector who lives near Benego's, works at Benego's. Benego's is think of it like a casino, almost like a gambling house. And so it's a man who, he hasn't worked in some time. You know, he's like kind of a nefarious sort, and his home is a little bit run down and broken. And you start passing across the road, and you can see that although this block hasn't fallen into the sinkhole, you can see the ruptures have kind of extended out further. You can see the ground itself is kind of dug up here and there. You can see some of the rumbling clearly, since it's so close to the nexus point, has caused some of these walls and such to fall. You can see portions of roofs that have sunk in, some folks working here and there. But the two of you work your way through these smaller streets, and eventually you get kind of further away from the main road, and you look out and you can see that there is a partially ruined, partially broken down. Like you can see some of the walls haven't really been maintained in a while, chunks of roof. It doesn't look like whatever damage was suffered has been cleaned up. But you see a single story house, probably 2-3 rooms at most. It doesn't look like it's very big. The door is still hanging on, but kind of ajar. The windows are shuttered. There's one or two folks that are kind of moving around here and there, but you can see people like pushing carts. They're kind of collecting what looks like some construction materials and stuff. So it's not a very busy thoroughfare that you're at. So what do the two of you want to do?
You know, Gwydion, before we do this, we might want to take a little bit of a perimeter, because one, we don't know who Dismas is hiding from, and also two, I was followed home yesterday. So, you know, there's people on the roofs, maybe.
I mean, I was just anticipating somebody was going to try and stab me as soon as we walked in. So.
Well, I mean, if you want to get back to the bleeding all over the place, we can just walk in the front door. But I think it might be best if we maybe scope out the area first.
That makes sense. Okay. I'm known for my keen eye.
All right. So if you're just kind of scoping around, like looking around a bit, yeah, we can do that. No problem. Give me both of you can roll vigilant. Vigilant flat, actually. Yeah.
Vigilant flat.
Oh my.
Huh,
you guys are like twinsies.
Nice.
Both of you.
Did we both roll ones?
We
both rolled natural ones.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
If I was going to stab me, I would
everything.
wait over there.
I know, right? And that roof right there would be perfect for dropping on us.
Yeah,
okay. So the one
and if
thing
you had some
notice,
hot oil, right over there.
Oh, I agree with you there. Maybe a bit of tar and feather from that angle, though.
That's just
so what you do see is on the roof, which is in not great shape. You can see there is a crumbled chimney but you can see kind of hiding within the chimney, almost like using it as like a lookout post. You can see the head of a human being. Looks like a woman with like kind of tangled brown hair. She has a eye patch, and she's just kind of looking around a bit. She doesn't see you, we'll say, but you can spot her from a distance. Then you notice that one of the windows is one of the shuttered windows is maybe cracked open a touch, and you do see at least one or two other people inside as well. So you've counted at minimum 3.
I'm glad we spotted that.
We're definitely being watched. Do we still want the front entrance, or do we sneak
I
in the
mean,
back?
yes. Sometimes it's better not knowing.
Well, all right.
No, it's good that we looked. You're right. Or what if I walk in and you...
I can keep a distance and keep an eye. Although I think your sister up there might want to say hi to you. She's got the same affliction.
Yeah. No, it's yeah.
All right. Yes.
My patch
If
is
you walk
nicer
in,
than hers.
yes, I'll keep an eye out from here, and you know what? I'll just tip a few of these windows back closed, just to bother some folk.
Okay.
This
So
is
Gwydion,
gonna go great.
you're going to go up to the door and go inside, and
Yes.
totally you're hanging back. Okay. Gwydion, are you just going to go in and open the door? Or are you going to try to sneak in? Or are you going to go knock on the door? Walk me through.
No. I mean, if Dismas is involved, it's way past the point of stealth. It is just going to be walking up very blatantly. I know you know I'm coming. I know he's there.
Okay. Okay, so you go in, you kind of knock at the door, you kind of push it open, and you see standing just a few feet inside, you can see a man, probably 20s or 30s. He looks pretty roughed up a bit, but he looks like like kind of like a tough, and he's like, he almost seems surprised. Are you, what was his name again? Oh yeah, it's Gwydion. Oh, okay, yeah. The kid, he's down the hall here. Yeah, hey, come on in.
Nice to meet you. Who are you?
Me. I'm the doorman.
Well, Mr. Doorman, it's great to meet you.
I think it's best if we just don't have names or anything like that. Just for secrecy's sakes.
The fact that these people might be just as stupid as Dismas starts creating this lingering horror in Gwydion's brain.
This is a nest of Dismases.
Oh God.
Okay. So do you go with him down the hall?
Yes.
Okay. So you go with him down the hall, and there's a door that cracks open. And you see first of all, the whole house is like in shambles. Like everything's falling, like all the furniture is like busted. You can see some stuff is falling off the walls. You're not sure if all of this has necessarily happened in the actual like situation with the sinkhole, or whether they're just having a little fun. You're not really sure. But you see as the door kind of is pushed open, it just sort of falls off its hinges and just slams on the ground. Whoops. And you can see that there in the room, there's Dismas. Sitting in a chair, is like rickety chair, and you can see there's another fella in here who looks almost identical to the doorman you just spoke to, and he's like, "This the guy? I thought there would be. Is it just you?"
I've got other friends too, but I figured I'd be polite and just knock on the door, and maybe you didn't want a bunch of visitors.
Oh, hey there. Hey, these are my friends here. This here is Gior. That's Fior. There's another Gior somewhere else, and then there's like Dior somewhere too. Oh, man, it's good to see you. We got a lot to talk about. We just got so much to talk about. I done really good. These fellas are going to help us find the cult. That's what they're going to do. Yep. Yeah, we're gonna help you find the cult. That's right, kid. That's
great news. It sounds like it's a family affair. That's a wonderful thing. I love it when family sticks together.
Yeah. I mean, that's like you and me. We're like family, right? Yeah, we like stick together. He's basically like my Like my grandfather or something? I don't know. How old are you?
Grandfather, I'm like maybe 7 years older than you.
I don't think that's right. I don't know. You feel older.
It's not the years, it's the mileage.
Oh, okay. I get it. Anyhow, I was walking around town and I was looking into the cult and I was saying, hey. And he'll know where I can't play him. He's so stupid. Why did you do this? Oh, goodness.
I did it because it'd be fun.
Anyhow, I thought, while you all were away, I would start doing some investigation stuff. I figured I'd start looking some things around and everything. And I was kind of asked around, figure out if there's anybody. And these fellas just I was sitting there, I was drinking over at a Dovacar, as I do. Yeah, he was drinking at a Dovacar. That was right. And they just kind of came up and they said, hey, you guy, you the guy that was asking about the cult. And that's what we did. And then I said, yeah, that's me. I got it. And then they want to know about you too. Like, they were asking all sorts of things. And yeah, I thought there was a couple more of you, one of them wizards and I don't know, a creepy guy with weird eyes. And you want them to come in too, or I figured they.
We got a lot of ins and a lot of outs going on right now. We're approaching a lot of different angles, and this seemed like the sort of thing where you might want to maintain some amount of privacy. And I know Dismas invited me, but it wasn't clear you wanted a whole bunch of guests.
Oh yeah, well I just figured
trying to be polite. You can look at me, and I'm a man of culture, clearly.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking when I saw you. I was just thinking, that maybe with you and your friends and your folk and us, we could just kind of team up, put our heads together, kind of get a understanding of what what we know. We can kind of hunt down this cult together. I mean, how's that sound?
I don't really know that much about hunting cults, so if you know something, I'd love to learn.
Oh, I mean, well, why don't you just tell us everything you know first, and then we kind of go from there, and then we'll just kind of fill in whatever gaps that need filling. How's that?
Okay.
All right. Well, let's hear what you got. What have you learned so far?
There's some dead shit under the city. And it might be a god, or it might just be some weird, creepy, spirit of a plant thing, maybe. And it died, but it came back, and it came back funny. And
all right,
maybe something that's got its head chopped off or something.
Oh, okay. Well, that's real interesting. That definitely tracks with everything. Hey, you want to sit down? Where are our manners? You want to take a seat?
I'm good. Actually, I was underground most of yesterday. I really wanted to stretch my legs. You can tell your sister to come in and visit too if you want.
Oh, that's not my sister. And then the other one who is kind of the doorman who kind of just led you in, is enough of this shit. And you just hear the sounds of something being drawn, and you look behind, you can see that there's a spear that he just kind of pulled out from behind the door. Enough of this shit. We'll take them one by one if we have to. And he goes to lunge in your direction. So yeah, let's go ahead.
Nice.
Let's go and put you in a little bit of what we call in the industry initiative.
Oh no.
All right.
Well, this is good because he closed in on me first. That way I don't have to close in on him.
Uh-huh.
That's
the building, though.
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah, well, it's because he's got the spear, so it's actually lucky that the spear guy comes to you instead of you going to them.
Mm-hmm.
This Gwydion has a weird way of looking at the world.
Okay.
Very strategical.
It's really all about the trading of stabs.
Okay. So let me go ahead and pull. Well, I'll pull all of you over, I guess. But only really two of you.
Of course, it'd be
the
one day I'm at full health too.
Right. Hey,
can't let that happen.
I'm all healed. I'm not even bleeding no more. Look at this.
Not for long.
Jeff,
don't worry.
Would this be a new scene potentially?
From when? From the witch? The witch stuff?
From when I was throwing out some unnoticeable spell casting and healing myself overnight.
Oh, overnight? Yeah, overnight for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll bring you over there. And so Atolia and Gwydion, you are in the You are in this here thing. So we're going to go ahead and just sort of jump in here. I know there's only two of you, but we're going to have to do it.
Oh, boy.
Let me bring this up on the screen so folks can see the map a little bit here. And again, we use maps more kind of abstract wise just to kind of get the general idea. Atolia, I put you outside. And the others are inside. The one woman that's in the chimney, she's on the roof. So you can't actually see her, but she's up in the roof. Okay. So let's go. Okay. Let's do that one. All right. So Gwydion, you hear him like enough of this shit. We'll just take him out right now. But you are in fact actually quicker than them. So you can take a swing if you want.
Okay, so the one that's off to the right isn't actually there. It's the one that's the two to the left of me that are actually
the one that's
right.
in the chimney is literally on the roof in the chimney.
Has the one next to Dismas drawn a weapon yet?
You can see that there is definitely a spear in their hand. It's kind of like lowered down to the ground, like they were kind of like using it almost like they were leaning on it like a piece of debris. But yeah, there is one right behind. What would you like to do?
I had an idea, but it honestly wouldn't do that much good because there are two of them.
Okay.
It seems like the thing to do. This one is already right next to me.
Sure.
Just turn around and I'm fine. I tried to be polite. I really did, and that's okay. Let me target them.
You guys are gonna live forever. No worries.
I don't know about that.
No, I meant you and Long are. You guys are fine.
Yeah.
We're in the church.
And then I would choose versus defense, right?
Yeah, just pick defense. That's
there
fine.
We go.
Okay. All right, so that's gonna hit. I do have some armor protection, so not all of that's gonna get through.
Okay.
But the first swing, whoosh, and I will say that with the damage you do, you actually hit its threshold. So you take a free action. They're like, enough of this shit, and they kind of pull the spear out from behind like the doorway, and they're about to stab it into you, and you just like whirl around.
Oh god.
Okay. And you obliterate them one and then the other, and his head just crumples to the floor. Oh,
like
God.
Maybe even the crow's beak. Like one is like the blunt end to his face, and then as he's falling, the spiked of the other one goes through the throat into the edge of the doorway, and just stare at his brother next to Dismas while he kind of dangles off of it.
It's this guy just dies to the ground. All right, and he's just kind of dangling against the wall a bit. But that is your attack. You still have you can still move or do something if you wanted. It's up to you.
Yeah, but I can't break up my attack, can I? That was one hand, and I have the other hand. Could I move
I think
use
that's
my
correct.
other hand?
I don't think so. No,
because it's an action to do the two or something like that. Okay, so that was the attack, and just with the offhand attack would just kind of be flipping the other crow's beak around in the offhand and walking right up next to the other guy.
Okay.
Which he does have a spear, I know.
Yeah, so he's going to get a free attack on you. Yeah, so go ahead and roll.
If nothing else, that makes sure that he's more likely to attack me than to try and threaten Dismas.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a defense then against its accuracy.
Okay, defense versus accuracy.
Mm-hmm. As you get close, he's like, Gior, what the fuck? And it's going to swing in your direction, and you just manage to shift your head off to the side, and it kind of lunges forward with the spear. And he just kind of calls out, "Oh, we need help in here!" And then it's going to be my turn, as they all go before Atolia, unfortunately. All right, so one of them's dead, so we'll ignore that one. The next one, however, is going to... I'll say, Atolia, you can see as the woman who's been her head's been sticking up above the chimney, kind of looking. Suddenly, it disappears. You hear behind you, Gwydion. You hear the sounds of boots hitting the ground, and you look and you can see in that broken chimney, who was up there has fallen down, and she will take a step forward, but you don't have a long weapon, so they're going to attack. So again, roll defense.
Drop down a chimney?
It's only 6, 7 feet up. It's not like a full chimney.
Still,
That's
For
cool.
being a certain amount of him, he's impressed.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Yeah, as long as
So
she has an eye
accurate.
patch. So versus accurate, yeah.
Yeah. No, there's kind of like that whole thing of like, even as she's trying to stab him, there's just kind of like eye patch to eye patch, a little bit of respecting nod.
Okay. And
I'm not going to let you
lun-
stab me, but I want you to know I respect that. That was
They
an
lunge-
amazing entrance.
They lunge out of you. They're like, yeah. Well, you're gonna have an amazing exit. And then they lunge at you. You dodge out of the way, and then you hear boots coming down the hall and bursting in and like bumping into the dead body. You see the as aforementioned other Gior step in. Hang on, let me make them visible, and you now have another contender. So go ahead and once
Yikes.
more. 1 second. I would say at this point you're probably flanked. So like they're going to have
That's
advantage
fair.
on
That's
this.
fair.
The three of them with spears surrounding you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you are rolling rocks, man. So they're going to get a +2. So you get a -2 on your defense,
Okay.
basically.
Okay, I'll make sure to account for
You
that.
got this,
So
Gwydion.
It's going to be fine. I mean, I need to make sure that we show up to the story proper wounded before we get into the real narrative. Okay.
I mean,
All right.
who is Gwydion without it bleeding?
Yeah.
That
if
is-
you're not open to
That is a miss. So this time they're going to lunge at you with this spear. However, you're this time you try to dodge, but you get caught, and you can feel the pressure of the spearhead like right into the side of your belly. But your armor manages to deflect it, and it will actually block the damage that they would have done.
I
Then
just healed that spine.
Then the last one is going to grab Dismas by the back of the neck. They're going to put the spearhead, like they're going to hold the spearhead almost like it's a knife, so you can see like their hands like right up behind the blade, and the whole staff is coming kind of down, and they hold the the piercing end of the spear right up to the back of Dismas's neck, and they say to you, "Drop your fucking weapons, or I'm ripping his fucking head off." Just like, Gwydion? What do you do, Gwydion?
Parlay.
Yeah. He knows if he drops
Parlay.
his weapons, they're still just going to murder us all.
Okay. If that's the case, they take the spear and they jam it into the back of Dismas's head, in the back of their neck. I have the stats, and you see a little bit of the spearhead poke out the side of his throat, and a spray of blood just come all the way across onto the room, and you are coated with Dismas's blood. And he's just hanging on to the head, kind of peeling it off to the side a bit. Could be a death wound, in fact.
Okay. I misread the situation. I thought that was his action to set up for that. So that's
No.
bad on me. Okay.
Atolia, your turn.
Ooh.
No, because you're going to game the system if I do it that way. So we're going to play it. We're gonna play
No,
it
I know.
theater.
I just.
That changes my plan.
Atolia, your turn. What you have seen thus far
I
is
have
that there
hindrances
was a
that would
look.
prevent me from dropping my weapons.
Yeah, you have a lookout sitting in the chimney that just disappears. You
Yep.
hear the sounds of what the fuck? Get him! So you can tell something is starting to go down. What do you want to do?
So in terms of movement, am I able with the sort of the quick action to get to Dismas, or is that too far? Because I can see there's missing walls, and I see there's
Yeah.
potentially
I don't think you
windows.
know where Dismas is, in fact. So I don't think you would be able to get there, but you would be able to run into the building.
Yeah.
And you would kind of look around, but you probably couldn't get to Dismas on this turn, I would
Okay.
say.
Then approximately how far am I able to get into the building and see what's going on? Because I obviously
I would say if you just spend your whole turn just like running in, looking like you can get through that opening room, you can start running down the hallway, and by the time you see the pool of blood sneaking out of the doorway into the hallway is probably where your turd would end up. So I'll ping it for you.
Okay.
I would say you can probably get into position for next round.
Okay. If I take half of the movement and go about here, can I still have an action to pull out and activate a bunch of storm arrows?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah. So you move into the what was probably the main room. There's the chimney, the broken chimney. You can see, you can kind of see like the what looks like that the walls are kind of breaking down a little bit, and you can kind of vaguely see movement on the other side, but it's not super clear to you. But yeah, and you stop there and you go, you get your storm arrows out. No problem.
Oh,
okay.
cool.
Goes back to Gwydion. Gwydion, your buddy Dismuth, your protege, just took a spearhead in the neck and is now spurting blood. You are surrounded by 3 of these. What do you do?
I am happy above board with my choice. Not really. I feel terrible, but I just, between like Bloodlust and Code of Honor, I don't think that he would reasonably like.
You also
back
have protege
down.
though.
I know. Well, that's like, it's fun to take burdens that conflict with each other.
I mean,
So-
but the thing with Bloodlust, though, Bloodlust, you can choose not to do it. I mean, sacrifices in experience
that's
and making
right, I
a
could.
vigilant test.
I
Code
already
of
made a
Honor is a
terrible
little
choice.
different.
I'm sticking with it.
Oh, good.
What do you
I mean,
do
pick
now?
3 burdens, which is more than the
Yeah.
What do you
game
do
suggests.
now?
Okay.
I murder the one who just stabbed Dismas.
All right. Go for it. Roll your attack on him. Defense is fine.
Okay. Oh, I feel bad. It's okay.
I'm going to go ahead and just put a little blood on Dismiss.
Oh!
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at the botched damage. I think that was the minimum I could do.
Oh my! Did you do another
was.
1-1-1
I did the
roll?
1-1-1.
Holy crap!
You lunge forward as he is just kind of letting, like he pulled him back he pulled back Dismas's head with his with the hair, stabbed through the neck, and just kind of let him fall. And before Dismas even hits the ground, you lunge out, you hack into him. You do get a little bit of damage through, but not as much as you would hope. And they are still
That's
up.
fair.
Okay, but you still have a second action, right? You have the second
I
attack,
do.
right? Okay.
Yep.
Go for it. All right, second one hits, 7 points of damage. Not enough to take them out or hit their threshold, unfortunately.
That's
As
fair.
some of that, so like you cut through and you can feel like it cuts through their armor. Okay,
And
so
then the best I can do for movement is I think maybe stand over Dismas, so to speak.
any movement you do is going to initiate a free attack. But if you want to do that, like any kind of movement, you'll get free attacks, not just from one, but you would get, because they're all basically surrounding you with spears,
And
in the
they all
room
have
at this
spears,
point.
so it wouldn't really make a difference anyways.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
because of the reach stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
holy.
I've made a terrible mistake.
I think it's great.
Oh.
Yeah.
No one really liked Dismas anyway, but you and me.
I loved it so
Everyone else
much.
hated Dismas.
I feel
Fed.
so bad.
It's all right. You're gonna feel even worse when his parents find out. Next up,
Yeah.
the ruffians are each gonna go. They've got you completely surrounded. I am gonna say that they get advantage, and so give me 3 defense rolls against with -2 on each one, as
Okay.
they're just going to swing away. Do one at a time.
There we go. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
This is
They don't do a ton of
Do we
damage.
have-
I'm not
Do we have
as concerned for
some,
Gordian as I was for Dismas. I figured Dismas was probably going to die in this situation.
Do we have some extras for the little? Oh, gosh.
First one comes
there's
through.
one.
You dodge out of the way. The spearhead goes right past your ear. Second one stabs at you.
-2.
Second one does in
Oh.
fact hit. You have 5 protection. With the bonus damage it gets, go ahead and roll a D4. Actually, no, I don't think it's a D4. I think it's just +2 for NPCs. So it's going to do six total points of damage versus your...
5.
So you take 1 damage. So it does actually, it makes you bleed. So you get like a cut across your face
Okay.
as it goes through your head. And then the third one.
And then number 3. Okay. Oh God.
You're the two, and the last one tries to come at you from behind with the spear. Tries to catch you in like the like right underneath your armor, right above like the waist, and it just doesn't quite get through. And it goes to Atolia. Atolia, it is your turn. You hear the sounds of fighting. What do you want to do?
Good shit. Okay, so she is going to use most of her movement, I guess, to get here-ish.
So you're right in the doorway. You look inside the doorway. It is a bloodbath. Right on the ground, on the inside, there is like a nearly decapitated, like crushed face, crushed head, random person, like random other like ruffian thug, whatever. You see that there's 3 people with spears that are surrounding Gwydion, and you can see the body of Dismas on the ground, massive puddle of blood pouring, like rushing out of his throat.
Yeah. I can't, with my movement, without taking it as a double, get to him right now, right?
That's correct. And you would also take free attacks for coming in. I'll say because you just gifted the doorway and they didn't know you were coming necessarily, I'm not going to say they take a free attack with you just showing up, but any movement into the room, you'll be taking free attacks.
All right, so I'll use my movement for that. I'm going to, now that I did pass a resolute test, I have, I've got 3 storm arrows kind of floating behind me, and I'm going to shoot one of them immediately to the person in front of me for a d6 of damage. Yep.
Go for it.
And then I'm going to use my action. I might have to throw out entangling vines and see if I can't hold someone so that Gideon can move. I'm going to try to entangling vines the woman over here to see if I can hold her in place.
Where was here? I'm sorry. There's one by the door, one by Dismith, and one by the fireplace, basically.
The one by the fireplace.
Okay, so the one in the doorway, you said you did damage to. How much damage did you do?
I did 4 points of damage.
And this doesn't bypass armor, right?
No, I don't have that ability.
So some of that gets through, but not all of it. Okay. All right. Second one. And now they know you're there.
Yes. Then I'm going to entangling vines the other one. I'm going to try to go against my resolute against her strong. All right. Hold on.
Wait, is this something that requires like line of sight? Yeah, I'm fine with that. Never mind. We'll say you're in the doorway. We just move you over slightly. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. It's okay. It's not like a projectile like your arrows, right? Because if it's a projectile,
no, it's not a projectile. Okay. It's like a bunch of vines just grab somebody.
Okay. So the vines do grow up and around, and you can see that they have like kind of pushed up through the floorboards, like these wooden floorboards, and they've kind of grabbed onto the ankles, the boots, the knee of this one figure in the room. And Gwydion, you now know that that Atolia is here with you.
Okay. Just help down if you can move away from her a bit.
All right. So, entangling vines don't do any damage, right? Not at your level.
No, they just hold her in place.
Yeah, they just hold. I think it's Master that does the damage
to get out of there.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right, so then we go to Gwydion. Gwydion, you're in the room. You're surrounded by 3 people with spears. The blood of Dismas is on your shoes. The head nearly punctured by the spear. And you can see Atolia has joined the fight. What would you like to do?
I need to clear the room so she can heal him, is Gwydion's thought process. So there's the one who's injured. I'll go for him first.
Okay.
If they're all attacking me, does that mean they're all within range that I can swing at them, or is it take movement to go between one to the other?
So I don't think it's like reach weapons from other games. I just think all Long does is let you take the free attack when they come into range. Okay. I don't think it works that way. So I think they are in range of you. Yeah.
Okay. So the first hit will go towards the one who I know is wounded already. The one that was on earlier.
Sounds good.
So do that versus defense.
That'll hit with a 10, it looks like. 6 points of damage.
This is more traditional damage for me.
What's that?
Oh, gosh.
Not enough to either
This is what
kill
normally
him
happens to me when I roll.
or
You
thresh him.
started off like that first one was like
Yeah.
all
Started
of
strong.
the luck, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's okay. It's this is good. This is fine. We'll put in number
Second
2.
attack.
Come on.
That hits.
Come on.
7 points of damage.
Yes.
Describe how you kill this one. Because that's enough to kill.
I think
thank goodness.
It's like they're very like it's not a very pretty kill. But, like there's gore and nastiness everything.
Mhm.
I think it's almost more to the effect of like at one point I hit him in the kneecap with the hammer and he kind of falls forward over the chair that Dismas had been in, and when he trips forward, just the spike goes up under his chin and yanks him forward over the chair.
Okay. And then that's it for you, right? You got your two got your 2 attacks? Okay.
That's
and
it.
then it is their turn. So that
2
one
more
is now,
rounds of
So yeah, 2 rounds, same thing as before.
okay.
Where we go. There it is. All right, so 2 of them are now dead in the room. There's still 2 left. One of them is entangled.
Okay.
I would
so
say if you
versus
wanted to
accurate.
use your movement, you could risk taking free actions to not be effectively like at disadvantage, because you would move away from, but you would take some free attacks. It's up to you though. I'm not sure if it's necessarily beneficial.
I think that's just giving them more attacks than, because then you're looking at. I would still have to defend against the same number of attacks, but I would actually be defending against more attacks if I give them the free one. So it seems like, yeah, I'll stick with
If you
what I
move
got.
away from her though, then maybe she can't re-engage you.
Yeah, any movement he takes, so he'll be taking 2 free attacks because he's moving
Yeah.
well in melee.
So and then I'm defending against 4 attacks instead of 2, and that just doesn't feel.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, good
So they
idea.
continue to stab away at this point, considering how their escape route is now blocked by Atolia.
Yeah.
They are pot committed now. Okay.
There we go.
So
It's
the first
consistent with the
one-
5 on that armor.
The first
so
one,
another 1.
So another one point of damage as they get 1 through. As you're getting slowly whittled down, another cut comes through. Maybe this time on your arm.
Okay.
And then the one in the entangled vines doesn't try to move, so just starts to stab away at Gwydion. There's nowhere for her to go unless she tries to climb up the chimney, and she's not willing to do that just yet.
Okay, I respect it.
Just yet. And is another hit, but
Okay.
this
time's
time,
a 6.
this time the armor does come through for you, and the blade doesn't manage to pierce underneath the leather. Atolia, your turn now. He's in a lot.
Oh, God.
He's in some trouble, but there are more of the dead bodies of them than there are dead bodies on your side.
Yeah.
What would you like to do?
So I'm going
2
to
to 1 right now.
start by throwing an arrow into the back of the person in the doorway, and that's just a straight D6 of damage. Yes.
Okay.
The
So,
person, Dior,
the one
whatever,
straight in front of you, or the one by the fireplace?
straight in front of me.
Okay, perfect. All right, 1 point.
And that's just a storm arrow free action.
Just kind of clinks off of the. You can see it just ricochets off the armor and into the door frame.
And then they're going to get a hit on me as I try to push through, I guess, diagonally towards Dismas, having seen him down.
Okay. So go ahead.
If I'm
and
allowed to
roll-
do that.
No, yeah. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
The map is just for abstract. Like, we're not perfect, so I don't really care. So yeah, you can try to push past them, but go ahead and roll defense against their accuracy, as they will try to take attack at you.
All right.
It's gonna be basically -3.
Remember
Should be
how to
quick
do
-3, I think.
this. Quick -3. Okay.
Yeah.
Quick -3.
Oh, no. That is a crit fail.
You just crit.
We're not playing with crits, but not yet. Anyway. We might have something. Okay, so that's 4 points of damage. What do you have for armor?
I actually have light armor, which is 2 for.
I don't know. I'm looking at your sheet. It says no armor right here.
I kept trying to get it to.
I'm just teasing.
equip
I
under
believe
my
you.
armor.
I totally believe
Trying to
you.
get it to equip, but I can't make it. But I do have light armor that
It's
I
a
am
D4.
wearing.
Go ahead and roll a D4.
Okay. Promise, I tried to equip it. I couldn't get the
I
thing to work.
believe you. 4. Okay, you block, I think, all of it. Yeah, you do, in fact, block all of it. Is your
Nice.
light armor that you take off for climbing, but you keep on for combat. has protected you, and you get up right to the to the bloody body of Dismas.
Well, I'm gonna try. He might be dead, but I will do a lay on hands with my action.
Okay. So
Let me.
is that? I think that's I'm sorry.
I am also going to pull a +1 from some of the bits that we got. Just
yeah, sure.
Just to make it.
So lay on hands is what? Is that resolute? I think.
Yes. For me,
resolute.
almost everything is resolute. Let me do a resolute check with a +1 or any minuses on this.
No.
No. Okay.
Oh, you just lean down.
It is a pass.
Okay.
Do
roll
I
that D6.
roll? Okay.
Yeah, roll a D6.
All right. 4 healing.
Okay. I mean, there's so much blood that's been gushing out, and his whole head is now like this glistening coat of blood.
Yep.
One thing you notice is that the gushing of the blood stops.
Okay.
Top of the round. Gwydion, what do you do?
Well, I'm really grateful to see that. Oh, God. Yeah, well, there's still 2 more.
There are.
I'll go for the one that's closest. I assume the lady from the chimney is the one who's slightly closer.
The one I would say the one by the chimney, the one that's got like the entangling vines coming up from below the floorboards is probably closest to you.
Okay. I mean, they're both, it's all the same. It probably just makes sense to go whoever's the closest.
Sure. The other one's going to kill Atelia, but that's fine.
Well, I mean, either of them can attack her. It doesn't, that's the thing, is that it's kind of a moot point.
So much blood. So much blood.
Okay, 6.
Right.
Man, just
6 points of damage is not enough to get to the threshold, but you do as she's trying to like stab away with her blade, with the spear blade in between turns and trying to like cut through those thorns. You just manage to hack in with your crow's beak. You see this explosion of blood coming from above her shoulder. Second attack.
Okay. Man, that D10 is unkind. Come on. There we go. There's my nat 20.
You swing with the second. They duck their head, and your swing crushes into some of the stone of the chimney, and you miss. It is their turn. Okay. All right. The one by Atelia. Seeing Atelia come in, like this one's like looking at their ally. This is the second Gior, and then it's looking at Gwydion. They're gonna start running, so they try to flee. I would say Atelia, you can take you're on your knees healing. I'm gonna say no to the free attack. I think that's fair. And Gwydion, you don't have a long weapon, and you didn't move towards him, so he's just gonna run. And so he's going to spend as much of his action, as much as his little heart can allow it, to get the hell out of Dodge. Okay. Atelia, is the attempt to get out of entangling vines, is that a free action or a full or like an actual proper action?
So I did roll for the entangling vines a successful resolute test. For them,
it should be strong, but like they can break out of it with strong.
Creature cannot move, but can use ranged weapons and empower the creature ensnared until the mystic fails a resolute against their strong test.
Did you roll a resolute at the start of your turn?
Not this time. Let me do that
go
now.
Ahead and do
Boop boop.
that. Okay.
Yep, they're still entangled.
That's another natty one. All right. Well, they're still stuck here, so there's really only thing that they can do is that's going to attack Gwydion. Gwydion, go ahead and roll defense.
Okay.
You roll normal. You're no longer surrounded.
True. It's not flanked. Hooray!
Ooh.
All right. Another natural one. You guys have rolled a ton of natural ones, and
Keeping us alive.
Not at the times I would have really wanted them, but that's okay.
Gideon, they're stuck there. If you go after the other one, I can keep healing Dismas.
Okay. After trying to swing at you, missing. We surrender. Surrender. I surrender. I surrender. And so, as she now realizes she all by herself, I didn't kill him. I didn't kill him. I wasn't me. I didn't kill him. I was just doing what they said. And that'll be the end of her turn. And then we come back to Atelia. Atelia, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna heal Dismas again. Yeah, I don't have line of sight of the other guy. So I will
That's
roll
correct.
let me pull up Resolute.
Yep.
Just do a quick roll here. That's a 3. So he is going to get another 3 points of healing.
Okay, so you see the hole in his neck is stitching up to the point where it almost looks like it's not even open any longer. And is there anything else you want to do on your turn?
I'm going to look at Gideon. I've got 1 storm arrow floating. I'm going to look at Gideon to see what he says in terms, because he's got bloodlust, but he's also honorable. Do we do the damage, or do we keep the informant?
Yeah, Gwydion doesn't take quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Not offered or given.
Okay, I'm going to shoot her with the last storm arrow.
Okay, go ahead.
In fact, you
D6.
saw him like reaching up to bring the hammer up, but
That is 4 points of damage.
She gets hit. Okay. All right.
Oh, I'll also quickly roll a resolute to see if she actually is still stuck there, which I think
For this
she
turn?
will be. No, she is
No.
freed.
The
Nice.
cockiness of that. Like she's calling her shot like, I think she will be. And then bam,
Yeah,
nat
that was
20.
my downfall. Yeah.
Oh no!
All right, well, she's not going to live much longer anyway.
Okay, Gwydion, it is
I
your
know.
turn.
the way I'm rolling, she might.
We got 2 attacks at this. You got this. No problem.
I know. You're just following orders. I understand.
Oh gosh!
We just needed to get paid. We
gosh.
couldn't afford.
I know it's all about the money. I understand. You just needed to get paid. It's
And then
all
you-
about the money for you. That's all it is for all of you. You're all
And you
such greedy,
swing.
worthless little fucks.
Man, somewhere Madjac his ears are ringing, and your head just your hammer just smashes down right into the top of her head, and it explodes.
And then I probably will use my movement to like
Okay.
step out and see if I can get line of sight on the other guy.
You step out into the hall, and you look, and you do not see them. Okay, and we will at that point, as Atolia has the
Oh,
hand
gosh.
on Dismith, as Gwydion is looking for this runner, we'll go ahead and we'll close out of that combat. And
Oh,
I think
gosh.
we'll just go ahead and call it there for the night. I think I didn't realize we're at time already. And we'll pick up with our Father Elfino conversation next time. I think that's what we should do. And kind of go from there.
I even
Business
just dropping in chat how Jinzo and I got like a warm reception at the church,
Yeah.
and we're like drinking
Sangrias.
some tea and having some
That'd be
like
great.
cordial
For now.
conversation in front of a warm fire, maybe. And
Hey, man. Splitting the party's fun. It's
It
certainly
is.
fun.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
This was the wrong decision.
Yep.
oh gosh,
Poor
oh boy,
Oh,
Dismas. Rip.
oh,
Okay.
R.I.P. Dismith.
Okay. All right. So that's the end in the chat for Dismas. We'll see. Atolia healed him. We'll see. We'll see if it happened. We'll take a vote and see if people want to. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll pick up next time. Probably 2 weeks. Actually, I think Melissa and I are off next week. And we'll pick up. We'll see whether or not Dismas survives. We'll have that conversation with Father Elfino. We'll see what Madjac has been up to. Why he hasn't been here. And then we'll kind of go from there. So they're just going to jump right into closing plugs since Aaron isn't here. Go check out some Garblack stuff. He runs games over there and he plays in games over there as well. So go check that out. Otherwise, for us tomorrow night, hopefully we're going to be doing some Warhammer 40K. Unfortunately, Aaron's been having some tech issues. That's why he wasn't here tonight. So hopefully we'll be back for 40K tomorrow night. If not, come back on Saturday. As we do have our Call of Cthulhu game, Eternal Lies, as we're continuing that. Monday, you should see a couple of us here playing some Pride Empire. And on Tuesday, you can see us doing some Frontier Scum, as we should be starting up a new adventure on Frontier Scum on Tuesday as well. So other than that, check out the Discord, check out the YouTube page, check out various podcast feeds, all that kind of stuff. See all of our old games, see all the games that we're running right now. Just hang out with us in Discord and talk and chat and just, tell the sad tales about Dismas and all the things that he accomplished in life. We're going to go ahead and raid Insomnia Night RPG. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.